Good morning, Rabbi Sai. L'ilui nishmas imi meros zirus bas Mordechai. Today is Tainus Esther, so the shir will be a little slower than usual, drier than usual, at least. So this is a email in Hebrew from Yitzchak Yedidi Frankel. He says, I was thinking to myself, what should I bring you as Mshalach Manas? And I found it. When Remeir Shapiro spoke about Daf Yomi, the famous thing, he spoke about the achtas that the Daf Yomi brings. A person travels from Poland to America, and it takes him 15 days, and people will walk into a Beis Medrash and be learning the same daf. It happens to be, it's interesting because this morning I saw a speech by Rabbi Center from Muncie. He gave a speech to the Olam in Muncie. They pledged over there $115,000. I'll show the name soon. And he gave a beautiful speech, Yisher Koyach Rabbi Center, and he spoke about this. He spoke about this, he brought it in his speech. So he says that he was sitting in a business meeting and there was a Jew there from the Haredi Litvish side and a Chassid and a Mizrachist. 2 weeks ago, we were in 3 different groups. Miflagot, how do you say miflagot? Parties, 3 different parties. But it turns out, he says, that we're all learning the same daf. Not only that we're all learning the same daf, we're all learning the same daf from the same Magid Shir. So, and in your zechus, we love the daf. So here's a picture of us learning the daf together. Yesher Koyach for that. So, in Muncie, I still need, if Mark Ashkenazi is listening, which he probably is, I still need the list from Borough Park and Passaic, all the other places that did it. I want to talk about the Brooklyn one. Yechiel Hirschkowitz, $1,800. Yosef Korn, $500. Moshe Kraus, $360. Benjamin Knapler, $500. This is something else. Oh, this might be from Brooklyn, Taka. Ben Landy, $10,000. Isaac Shirley Trigger, $1,000. Yossi Dahari, $1,000. And Yosef Biliak, he's still on. Where's Yosef Biliak? He's still doing $40,000. I don't know if he's going to still do it. And Akiva Bo is making phone calls again. Aaron Yusupov, 101. Shimon Kaplan, 1,000. Daniel Elizabeth Kusayayev, 1,000. Aram Zipper, 1,000. David Moshe, Meir Weisel, David Moshe, Michael Yahuda, 1,000. Shaul Sharabi, 2,000. Now, boys, here's the list from Muncie. Superstars over there. Yossi Klein, $26,000. Why not? I mean, he's also running the whole thing and every day spending 7 hours or more on the phone. And he forgot about his business, but $26,000. Daniel Vogel, $18,000. Shlomi Rosenberg, $10,200. Noam Fix, $15,000. Aronsi Markovich, $10,000. Bensi Center, not the rabbi, $10,000. Mark Ashkenazi, $5,000. Yonah Rothman, $5,000. You see, it's a lot of 5s and 10s. Shmari Zellingold, also Yonah Rothman is one of the guys in Muncie that put this whole thing together. Together with Shmari Zellingold, $5,000. Together with Molandi, $5,000. There was like 6 or 7 people that were working on this. Mati Weinrib. By the way, Mati Weinrib is the one that came out with the Megillah a couple of years ago. The MDY Megillah that had to do with Mesechus Megillah. Very, very nice job. Mati Weinrib, $4,000. Yidel Katz, $3,600. Chaim and Aaron Tabak, $3,600. David Bediel, he was first $1,800 and then he doubled it after the speeches, $3,600. Oshi Jacobs, $2,500. Michael Zimmer, I spoke about, I'll tell you what I said real quickly. Here in Eretz Yisrael, the minhag is basically 95% of the people, when a guy coming to collect the money in shul, you give him a shekel. Like in America, you give $1, the currency here is a shekel. And I realized that a shekel, at least for me, is it's like 30 cents. It's like, giving a guy a quarter. I wanted it to hurt a little bit. So it's not a lot of money, but maybe for Eretz Yisrael, so I give 5 shekel. Because this idea of come out a little bit of your comfort zone. If there's a shekel on the floor, would you look twice? Would you keep on walking? Would you stop? 5 shekels is something, it's chashuv, you stop. So that was one of my points. I don't know if I expressed it completely, because maybe people think in America, what's the big deal? 5 shekels, everybody gives $1. No, but here in Eretz Yisrael, it's more like a shekel. So I'm saying, get out of your comfort zone. That's what I was telling them. Come out of your comfort zone. If Mendy Auerbach took upon himself 10,000, you should jump to 20. That's all I'm trying to say. Pick on the big guys. So 40. So 40. Come at it. So I'm saying David Badil did that. He went from 1,800 to 36. Oshi Jacobs, $2,500. Michael Zimmerman, $2,500. He's also one of the guys that put the whole thing together. So Yishkoyach Michael. Reb Yosef Kitai, $1,000. Reb Yosef Kitai, so for a total of $115,000 pledged. And Bezer Hashem a lot more. Here's Reb Yosef Kitai. He's a Rebbe in Monsey. And he took upon himself $1,000. So what happened was Mark Ashkenazi bumped into him like a few days ago. And he said that he told him, he says, oh, you're part of MDY. So he looks him up on the register, whatever, and he finds his name there. And he looks and he sees there's another person with the same name. He says, it's a very rare name. Turns out that he never knew that his own father does the daf here in Eretz Yisrael. His father is part of MDY. That's Mark on the left. So this I got Rishus from Donnie. Donnie sent this to me. Donnie, fine. That here's just a person who had a karas hatov to Donnie for putting and pushing the status, the daf. And he says, because of you, I'm doing the daf every day. And here's and he gave him a beautiful bottle of wine, expensive bottle of wine, for saying thank you. Never heard of him to exchange. And he says on the right, I'm so not a daf a day person, or so I thought. Definitely still wouldn't be if not for this. We'll tell you more over a call for your whiskey sometime, but your photos and enthusiasm gave me such a longing to give it a go, and here I am, hooked. Anyway, was meaning to message you, what's your address, and Reb Eli's tremendous amount of thank you to both. Shkoyach, beautiful. Reb Eli, I had a goal of $10,000 and we'll be getting to it tonight. I truly feel a part of something big here. Thanks for giving me another way to connect to Hashem, as in the past I wasn't able to through Gemara. Moshe Feintoch. Rabbi said, just as a quick thing, we have something called the Ora Merkaz, which Rabbi Schoenberg, who's sitting right here, very choshev yid, he writes in every single week, and we have a column from Eliyakim Aronoff, who's part of the Koil, a huge Talmid Chacham, literally takes tests on all of Shas. He writes every week, and many other people. There's a Hasidic Dvar Torah, the Hasidic Dvar Torah, Sephardi Dvar Torah, kids, etc., etc. So check it out. The Masechta is sponsored by Anonymous for the safe and speedy return of all the hostages. Amen. Parnas HaChodesh, Nishmat Zechurya ben Moshe, Nishmat Zechurya bas Yosef. Parnas HaChodesh, Ahron Fraiman. It should be a zechus to rebel for continuous siyadta dishmaya and teaching Torah to Klal Yisroel. What? Parnas HaChodesh, Refuah Shlema, Limelech ben Tzipora. Amen. Parnas HaYoim, Nishmat Elihu ben Yosef, Neshama ben Aliyah. Parnas HaYoim, London School of Jewish Song Fan, for the full refuah of Yigal Yisrael ben Blima Gittel Yigal Salek. Refuah Shlema. Parnas HaYoim, because I haven't sponsored in a while, Keith Reich, White Plains, New York, from Berachas Daf Beis. Anonymous sponsor for the Shidduch of Abachor, Yisrael Oshes Zelig Ben Chaisara, Shefan Zivog, Hagun. Parnas HaChodesh, anonymous for the zechus for an easy childbirth, his daughter, and healthy baby. The Coffee Corner is sponsored by Mendel Lerner in honor of my daughter's chasana, Shetisku Livnois Bais Neman B'Yisrael. And I do want to tell the Olam, I am going out of my comfort zone in this whole raise, and I'm doing something I really despise doing, but I'm doing it anyway. I am flying to America right after Purim for about a week. It's going to be a lot of fun, knocking on people's doors, schmoozing with people about raising money, etc., stuff I love. And Be'ez Hashem continue to give 2 shiurim a day and prepare the shiur. So it's going to be a lot of fun, a lot of sleep, and a lot of geschmacka cheese danishes and pizza. It's going to be wonderful. So when I go to America, I don't know what it is. I don't eat anything. I gain 10 pounds just by breathing the air. You just look at those. The sushi. You go to any event. You go to a guy's face bris. There's like $10,000 worth of sushi. I don't know what the pshat is. It's mamish contagious. We're holding the Chaf Aleph on the base, all in the bottom. The last line. Check this halacha out, Rabbi. I want you to think about this halacha. I think it's very, very important to. I just got this before shir. This is from Toronto. These are MDY steak knives. with the engraved. I don't know if you can see. What do you got, Gary? Talking about steaks on a tinus is not a great idea. Okay, fine. Rabbi Yisai, here's the question. You need to go to the hospital, an emergency, whatever it is, not a pikuach nefesh. You need to get somewhere very quick, not to the hospital. You need to get to shul. So you see your friend's car, the keys. You're good friends with him. You'll ask him permission after Ma'ariv is over. What's the big deal? Do you see a problem with that? He's going to say yes, probably. Let's say you get stuck in a bathroom without toilet paper. I don't know what. And there's a box of tissues that says somebody's name on it. Yeah? You're gonna ask, who cares? It's only 5 tissues. You'll ask permission afterwards. Is it mutter or aser? That's mutter. What about the car? Aser. So we're gonna see. L'chayra, even if the person, and you know he's gonna say yes, that's called yish shlema das. That's trying to get permission retroactively. And we're going to see that's probably a big problem. Probably gzela. Even if it's a good friend of yours. And you know, sometimes you go into your friend's house and you open up the cabinet, you take something to drink. So it depends on the situation. If you're a guest, you're supposed to be there, most likely he gives you retroactive. But sometimes like you take and then you ask, that's gneva. Kavod Brias, you're not allowed to steal for Kavod Brias. This is you're allowed to steal for Kavod Brias. You're allowed to be, might be between Adam Lamakim, not between Adam Chaver.
Not for sure we can do it for Kavod Brias.
He for sure. Okay, I don't know. But that's retroactive. But that's retroactive. At the time, he didn't have reshus. At the time, he didn't have reshus.
It's a partial thing. The guy's going to give you for sure. Your car lav dafka. Kavod Brias.
Of course, I said everybody will give to blow your nose also. To blow your nose also. But you didn't have reshus at the time. That's the nikuda that you didn't have reshus. He's going to give you. You're 100% right that he's going to give you reshus. I agree. But it's still gneva. 100% gneva. Maybe. It's not 100% gneva. I can't say anything 100%. Anyway, Zakti Bar. Toshma. We're in the middle of Machlaikis Yush Lemidas. You look on the top of the Amud. Welcome back to Noam. He came back from America just for the daf. He wanted to stay, but he said, I need to come back for the daf. Yush Lemidas. Right? The top words on Amud Beis. Rabbi Yisai, top words. The Elam is giddy here. If a person doesn't know that he lost an object, do we say that when he finds out, retroactive, we have to get to this vart. It's a retroactive vart over here. L'mafreya, he would have been miyash. Today he doesn't know it fell out of his pocket, but once he finds out that he lost his money, he immediately says, I abandoned it, I give up hope, and does it work retroactive? Abai says no. Loy have iyush, and as Avi spoiled it yesterday, the Gemara passes like a baya. It's not iyush. You have to know about it. And Rava says no, it is iyush. Tashma. Last line on the Amud. Haganim shenotam zev nasan lazeh. He takes from the poor, gives to the takes from the rich, gives to the poor. He's a ganav. A ganav is somebody who comes through the window at night when nobody's watching. He steals. He comes in the daylight. He's not scared of people. What is the difference between a ganav and a gazlan, Rabbi Yisai? Halachically, a gazlan does not pay kefil. Yeah, all the sugyas in Bava Kama. He doesn't pay double. He doesn't pay the 4 or 5. A river who takes from this property and deposits it on another property, you get to keep it. Hashem nosan, Hashem lokach, Hashem nosan. Bishleim gazlan v'yarden. Says the Gemara, I understand when it happened in daylight, it happened from a river, everybody knows about it. You saw it happening, so you give up immediately. Elagano, it happened in the middle of the night. How did he know about it? So that he could have yush. You see from here, like Rava, that you don't need to know about it. It happens automatically. When you find out about it, retroactively, you had yush. Tirgam Rapapa belistim mizuyam. Says Rapapa, we're talking about this case right over here on the screen. He was held up. He used a weapon. Yes, it happened during the daytime. Look, it's light outside, but he used a weapon. So the ganav, when it says ganav and gazlan, we're not talking about a ganav that comes through the window at night. We're talking about a type of a gazlan that uses a gun. So he knows about it. He gave up immediately. So it's two cases that are the same. They're both happening during the day. Says the Gemara, Trigavne Gazlan. As we had in Bava Kama. It's two different cases because one, he's actually scared of the human being, of the other person, and one he's not scared. One, he comes without a weapon, he says, give me your money, or else. So he has no fear of people. The other one, he has fear of people. In fact, he's so scared of other people, he has to use a weapon. What's the nafkamina? I think he's so scared of people that maybe he has to pay kefil. He's like a ganav who's scared of people. So that was the discussion in Bava Kama. The point is that maybe you could say that all these cases, he knows about it. Toshma. Again, we want to know, is Yush Shalem Das? When a person gives up, he doesn't give up yet because he doesn't know about it, is that considered Yush? Shotaf Nahar Koirov, if a river comes and uproots your wood, your beams, Eitzav, your wood, your trees, Va'avanov, and your stones, and it dumps it off in somebody else's field. Rabbi said we have a Gevaldik video. Here you go. Yellowstone. Here's Avanov. Here's Eitzav. And here's Mechonisov. Metaltalin. That's garnished. Wait, it gets better. Oh, who told you to build that mansion over there? Oy. Yeah. Takes it all. Oy, oy. Don't build out of wood. Who told you to build out of wood? Yeah. Okay. So, huh?
You have the house right in the water. Who told you to build a house in the water?
I didn't build it. Some baseball player built it. I just bought it from him. So look what it says here. It gives you a reason. Why could you keep that house that fell into the water? Because the owner gave up. There was Yush. So what does that arrive to? If we stop right here, we can figure it out ourselves. You have to have physical abandonment, discouragement, giving up. Yush. You have to give up. It says, says the Gemara, time of this. It seems like if you don't know about it, that's your vacation home in Yellowstone. You had no clue. You're in New York. It's the middle of the night. No yush yet, because you didn't give up. You didn't know about it. Says the Gemara, that the diuk, taima, the nisiyashu, that diuk is talking about where you could save it. The reason why, the reason why it's not yush is because you could save it. The Bryson may be talking about that he can't save it. But the diuk part, you could save it. Says the Gemara, if that's the case, what's the next part? If the owners are chasing the wood, then you have to give it back. We have a Gevaldik animation here. Check this out, Rabbi Isai. Oh, this sound. If they could do this, I don't know if he did it. If he could, says the Gemara, if he could save it, why does he have to chase it? It says if they were chasing, if it's possible to save, that's all you need. Then he does it. He's not miyayish. What's the point? I could save it, so I don't give up. I know about it. I'll take care of it. I'm not giving up. So why do you have to add that he chased it? It says the Gemara, no. You have to chase it. You know why? Because it's something in between. It's if I chase, I could save. If I don't start running this second, it's too late. So I need to start chasing. It's one of these in between things. I don't have all day to save it. It's going down the river. If I start running right now, I'll catch up to it and I'll grab it. If you're chasing it, there's no yush. But if you don't run after it, the yush miyayish. You look at it, it's already down the river. 2 minutes later, it's out of eyesight. It's finished. The yush. Toshma. Again, do we have a raya one way or the other in yush shalem das? When you don't know about it, is it considered yush? Keta the amru What's the halacha? Toirim shlei midas trumasoi truma. So we're going to show this thing again. Why not? For all the new people and some of the old people that forgot. When you have a pile of fruit with 100 fruit, the halacha is that you could give one kernel of wheat for 1 billion kernels. That's midaraisa. You give one of these. But people are nice to the kohanim. They give approximately 2%. Go ahead. They take 2 out of 100, and they go and they give it to the kohen. When you give it to the kohen, the pile goes from tevel, which is asertit, to fixed fruit, and the kohen gets his 2%. Then what happens afterwards is a different share. Then you give another 10% to a Levi, not to the kohen, and the Levi gives to the kohen. Rabbi Zechariah once asked the first Slonimer Rebbe, he says, what's the pshat in Hasidim? Your Rebbe and they're your Hasidim, like, why are you different than them? Something like that to that point. So he said, it's like Truma. You pick one from the top, he becomes Kaddish. And the rest become a Tukun. They get elevated through picking one from the top. That's what he said. Okay. Dylan doesn't like it. You're not Hasidish, I guess.
You love it.
Oh, you love it. Okay.
Aren't you the Rebbe?
No, I'm Litvish. There's difference. It doesn't work by Litvaks. Oh. So some guy decides, right now the Gemara understands, he decides on his own to go and fix, he's a big tzaddik, he fixes other people's stuff. That's what he does. He doesn't fix himself, he fixes other people. So he goes into his friend's field and he takes Truma Meiser, so that his friend, that guy probably won't even do it himself, will probably eat tevel, so let me help him. He did it without permission. Says the Gemara, this is the halach. If the owner is upset at him, why do you come in here? Who asked you to come into my place? Why are you touching my food? If he does one of those, so the truma didn't work. Bimlav, if he doesn't care, he's like, oh, thank you. You saved me 33 seconds. Yishkoyach, truma. Then it works. And how can you tell if the owner is upset or not? If he gets caught red-handed, the Balabais says on the spot, here we have a shtickle picture of Klach Eitzel Yafais. Here. He says, why don't you take the nicer fruit? Now, in this picture, it's a little bit here. This is one-sided. When a person says those words, Klach Eitzel Yafais, why don't you take the nicer ones? It could be two things. Either he's being serious. Why do you take such lousy green apples when we have nice juicy red? Or he could be sarcastic. It's ambiguous. Over here he's yelling, okay? It's very obvious. But in the way the Gemara is saying, it's Klach Eitzel Yafais. Maybe he's being serious, maybe he's being sarcastic. Now, if he's being sarcastic, then obviously he doesn't want you to touch his stuff. Get out of here. It's not truma. If he's being serious, you should have taken better. So it is truma. How do you know if he's being sarcastic? Depends. If you can find nicer ones on the tree, then he's being serious. And if you can't find anything nicer, so obviously he's being sarcastic. Halacha. If, in addition, the owner came and took more truma, you see he's being serious. He's not a sarcastic kind of individual. He wants to make truma. He wants to make it even better. Ask the Gemara, but let's think about this for a second. This is really a sugya of retroactive of l'mafreya. But why is it truma? When you went into your friend's field and you took truma off, you mafresh 2%. The owner had no clue. 2 days later, he finds out that he took truma. Oh, he's so happy about it. Not only that, he added 2 more apples. But how did it work 2 days before? You must say that the only way it works is because it's retroactive. That's similar to what Rava says. They can go retroactive and say, oh, he was miyash 2 days ago. So this is a beautiful raya to Rava. So Rabbi said, look what happens over here. This is beautiful. We'll stop right over here. Rava explains Abaya because, in fact, you have a great right to Rava. So what would you and I do if we're having a nice fight, an argument, and somebody pulls out a sefer that says exactly like you? You start dancing. Ha! I told you. You don't know how to learn. You're not Ma'aretz. You said I'm 100% right, and you're now 100% wrong. You shove with him. Not Rava. Rava is here for the truth. Yes, I argue on Abaye. But Abaye got stuck here. He has a big problem on his shita. Let me explain Abaye. Let me explain it. It's gewaldic, no? I want to explain the other tzad. Because I'm looking for the emes. So Rabbi Yisrael Salanter, who brought the Musar movement, what a lot of people forget is that he was the Gadol Hador in learning also. He's the biggest, like the huge Talmid Chacham in Lamdan. But he's known for his Musar. So he got up to give a big shtickle Torah, and some guy in the shir asked him a question, and he thought about it. He says, you're right. He slammed his Gemara shut and walked off the stage. And he said later on, look, I could have easily answered him 5 answers that would have kept the guy away. But I'm here for the emes. And then he continued and he said, even though it would have hurt my Musar movement, this could have hurt me. I'm trying to push Musar. And then they'll say, look, he's not such a Talmid Chacham. Even some random guy in the shir asked him a question, but you know what? Emes is more important. And that's it. Even in learning. Says Gemara, let me explain Abaye. Because we're talking about the Shavi Shliach. This whole case you misunderstood. It's not a case where somebody walks into somebody else's field and gives the truma. This is a case of where I asked you to take truma. But you didn't take the one I wanted, maybe. Maybe you took the wrong truma. Rabbi said you could tell. If you look around the room, you could tell that the Olam didn't drink coffee today. There's a... Ramosha, you're laughing because I saw you a few minutes ago schluffing like you didn't take a coffee. Correct? Are you a coffee guy? Is that what it is?
Yeah, well, a lot of coffee.
A lot of coffee. Okay, I'm sorry I'm boring you to sleep. I feel like some of the other Magadishurim out there now. Fine, look at this guy, he's so a schluff that even through my jokes. No, sorry. Okay, Zog the Gemara. Don't focus on it. Chas v'shalom. There's a big problem. There must be a shliach. You must appoint somebody to be a shliach. Why? Take a look at this pasuk. Let's read the pasuk together. What's wrong with this pasuk? L'chayra. Kein tarimu atem trumas Hashem. What's gam? Also, the word also doesn't fit in here. Kein tarimu also you. Take out the word gam. So the word gam is very important for the whole Torah. This word teaches us the idea of agency, the idea of shlichos, that I could hire you to do something for me. In terms of a mitzvah, whatever it is. You must know about it in order to be a shliach. Rav Steinman had this thing where he gave the bread to the yeshiva ganyan give him Bnei Brak. And he didn't just want to give it as a nadava donation. He wanted to be the owner of the bread, and the bacham are eating his bread. It was his bread. Now in Bnei Brak, as you know, even if you took Trumas U'Maisers 5 times, nobody's going to rely on you, and they're going to take again. The problem is, since it's not their bread, it's Reb Steinman's bread. You have to ask Rishus to take Truma. We just learned you have to be a Shliach. But Reb Steinman didn't want to tell them it was him. It was anonymous. So they had a thing up there that Hareini Toirem with the Shlichus of the Balabayas, Mr. Anonymous, whoever it is. That's it. So he made the Bachram Shliach from here on out forever, their Shluchim. What happened was he didn't say take from over here. Typically speaking, when somebody sends you to take truma, it's from the medium, the middle ones. Take from not the best apples, not the worst, the middle. And he went and he took from the best. And the guy says, what are you doing? Why are you taking these nice ones? Go to the better ones. So now I don't know if he's sarcastic or not. I sent you, and you actually took from the really good ones. But I said, take from the better ones. So if there's nicer ones, he wasn't being sarcastic. If they're not any nicer, he's upset at you. Why did you have to take truma from such good quality? Should have left the good quality for me. Says the Gemara's story. Lebustana the Mari Bar Isak. There was an owner of a orchard called Mari Bar Isak, and 3 very chashav, famous Amoraim. One of them actually wrote the Gemara, the author of the Gemara, Ravashi. Ameimar, Mazutra, Viravashi. 3 of them are at this orchard. I see Ari saying, Tam Riveri morning, Vishadek Amayu. Comes the arist, the sharecropper guy, the guy that makes, let's say, 1/3 of the profits, and he gives them pomegranate, he gives them dates to eat. Now, what's the problem? The problem is a sharecropper gets 1/3. A sharecropper doesn't necessarily have permission to give people some of the fruit. Says the Gemara, Ameimar Ravashi Achli, Ameimar and Ravashi ate. Now, did Ravashi write this line right over here in the Gemara? Not necessarily, because his son also later generation, they put it, but Ravashi is the one that wrote the Gemara. Could be he did. Says the Gemara, Meir and Ravashi ate from the fruit. They weren't concerned. They figured he's a partial owner here. He'll do some sort of cheshbon with the balabas later on. I gave away 20 apples over the year, 20 pomegranates. Mazutra loy ochil. Mazutra didn't eat. And here's where Tosfos says, but wait a minute. When Mareisak will find out that Ravashi, the Goladar, is here, what do you think? He's not going to give him a pomegranate? He owns all these pomegranates. Says Tosfos, the last line on this page. Even though the owner later on says, of course, 100%. Listen, is it different than toilet paper? If the Gadol Adar is sitting by your table, you're not going to want to give him some fruit? Of course you will. But when he ate the fruit, he didn't know about it. And that's a problem of Gezel. It's unbelievable. The Gadol Adar, whoever your Gadol Adar is, I don't know who, any Rebbe, any your Rav, who comes into your house, don't you want your kid to give him a pomegranate? To give him a piece of cake? Tosfos says, and I'm not paskening, and I'm not saying in this case, in that case, you might be right in this case, you might be. I'm just trying to bring awareness that just because a person says yes afterwards, doesn't mean that it's okay to do it l'chatchila. That's all I'm saying. And you want to say this case is different because here we're talking about Doyle Adar. We're talking about a guy that has rishus on 1/3 of the fruit. Says Marzutra, I can't eat. Says the Gemara, and the owner actually came. And he says, what's wrong with you? How come you didn't give better ones? So now they turn to him, they say, how come right now you're not eating? That if the shliach makes truma and there's better truma, so it works, retroactively we say, he probably would have wanted that. Because I heard from Rava, you only say this idea that, he would have wanted better and it works. That works by a mitzvah called truma. Everybody spends a lot of money on a nice esrog. Everybody wants to give. We all learned in Cheder about Kain and Hevel. You're supposed to give HaKadosh Baruch Hu the better of the best. So it's trumas. I'm giving the nicer ones. Of course, that's what I want. And this Rabbi says a very important line for life also. When you know that person doesn't really want to do it, and I saw a story of a Rebbe, I forgot who it was, who somebody offered him sandikos and he said no. And he said, you know why? Because he doesn't really want it. But he said it. That's it. We know. No. When a person doesn't really want, then you're not allowed to take from him. It's gneva to take from him. The halach of leisachmai, then I said, you go to somebody and you offer him to buy your house, and then you offer again. You're allowed to offer once, whatever the thing is, twice. But when you pressure somebody into selling, that's the issur of leisachmai. This is the raisa. But he said yes. In his mind, he doesn't want. There was a whole class of kids there yesterday, and I said, in school also, you go to over a kid and give me some of your chocolate. So the kid gives, but he doesn't really want to give. What kid wants to give? So for kids, it's one thing, but for adults, sometimes you have that. The Rambam says that one of the 24 things that is ma'akiv tshuva, that doesn't help, that doesn't allow you to do tshuva, is when you eat from a meal of somebody, but the guy said, I want to give you something. You go to somebody's house, you see there's nothing in the refrigerator, and he gives you. You're not allowed to take. But he said, I want to give you. Says the Rambam, that's gneva. Because Lamaisa inside, it's hurting him. He just feels uncomfortable. Mishum ksifusa. He's embarrassed. So he gives you. So we have to remember that even when a person says take, but he doesn't really mean it, it's gneva. A lot of times your friend goes, no, take the money. He pushes it in your pocket. He plays that whole game. He wants you to take it out of the pocket. Yeah.
By not taking, or
Okay, so you have to know each situation. I'm looking for my water, actually. No, fine. What do you mean? Something's insulting when you don't take the money. Okay. That's by you, not by me. Tashma, oideu atal aleim. Okay, so this is a beautiful sugya. Rabbi Yosef goes like this. Oh, I don't have water. I literally need water. Somebody get me a cup of water quick. I can't believe it. Wow. Yesterday we had water. What? I'm not drinking. Quick, no, just a little bit. The halacha is like this. Rabbi Yosef goes like this. Thank you. Wow. Tzaddik. Just put it over here. Thank you. This is a dead sheretz. If this dead sheretz touches this fruit, is it tamei or not? No, it's not tamei. Why? Because in order for this to become tamei, it has to become mukhshir l'kabel tumah. You have to enable it to become tamei. How do you enable a fruit to become tamei? You have to wet it with one of the 7 liquids, milk, honey, dew, the whole thing. So if you go like this, and you're happy, you want the water. Rosh Kailal, you want the water. He timed that we didn't say it right. Okay. Wants the water on it. So now, even if you dry it off, where's the tissue? Shkoyach. Even if you go like this, now it's Makabel Tumah. Now, what happens if it rained on it? So if you're happy with the rain, you say, okay, it's good, it washed off my fruit, now I don't have to put it through the machine, I can sell it like this. Then the rain is good, then the rain made it Mukshel Kabel Tumah. But if it rained on it and you didn't want it, then it's not Mukshel Kabel Tumah. What if it rained on it and it dried off, and you look at your fruit and you say, wow, how did they become so shiny? So it rained last night. Ooh, gewaldig. But you didn't know about it. That's our sugya. That's what we're talking about. Could you retroactively want the rain? Here, we got a nice picture of the tal still on it. V'sameach, and he's happy. But here we have a better one. It's right over here. You see? So it goes like this. If the fruit is attached to the tree, it's green. In other words, it's locked. You cannot make it tamei. If you touch it, a person that's tamei touches it, it remains green, it remains tar. Once they remove it from the tree and you touch it, it remains tar. Why? No water. Once you put the water on it, it unlocks, it becomes purple. It's not tamei yet. Now, if somebody touches it, it becomes tamei. Says the Gemara, he's happy. It's almost Purim. We're talking about happy. Harei b'chiyutan. Y'all get ready. I'm going to ask you on Shabbos. I'm going to ask you tonight. What's hechsher l'kabel tumah? Mukhsher l'kabel tumah. One of the most famous things in Shas. It's mentioned many, many times. Mukhsher, you enable the fruit to become tamei. Harei b'chiyutan. That is yutan. Where's the pasuk? First of all, it says in the pasuk, it says mefurish. When it becomes, there's water on it, then it becomes tamei. And then it says in the pasuk, yutan means it was given, not you. You didn't put it on. It was given by Kadosh Baruch Hu. Let's say the rain. Nagvai, if you wiped it off, even though you were happy, it's not b'chiyutan. It's not u'achshem. Time in my lamishum deloyamrina kivin the gloy milsa hash the hash nichale migo. You don't say retroactive because you don't say migo nichale sha mikar nami nichle. You don't say that because you found out later that it was wet. So now you just found out now. So retroactively you were happy when it was wet then, and it's b'chiyutan. It's mukhshel kavatuma. You don't say that. Says the Gemara, don't bring any raya from Yush to a case of Tumah. Shani Hasim Dechsiv, it's a mefurish pasuk, ki yitein at sheyitain. If you look at this pasuk, if it didn't have nekudas, how do you guys call that, those 3 dots? Melupam, I don't know what you call it. Shuruk. Whatever. I asked the 10-year-olds and they didn't know either, so I figured if they don't know and they just learned it 3 years before, so I certainly Okay, shuruk. If you take that off, it says v'chiyitain. What's yutan? V'chiyitain by malzera. So we know traditionally we have a tradition that this is how we read it. This Korean ksiv, it's how it's written, how you pronounce it. So we read it. We say the halach is that you have to put it physically with your hands. Says the Gemara, even when he's happy about it, that it rained on it, but it rained. You didn't put it up with your hands, so it shouldn't work. If what you're saying is true, they have to do it with your hands. Then here we actually have. He did a nice job here. Check this out. There's yitain and yutan. Yutan means that it came by itself. It rained on it. And yitei means he dumped the water on it. So as the Gemara, well, you need a yitei. You have to do it yourself. Says no. Rapapa had a little bit of a contradiction. Sivki yitain. It says it yut taf nun. B'karin kiyutan, and we read it as if it says it was given. Somebody else put it on there. Okay, it said. How do you reconcile these two things? The reason why the Torah wrote it in such an interesting way, instead of yutan with a vav, like it says it over here, it says it yitain instead of with a vav, is because the Torah is telling you something. The Torah says, just like when you put it by yourself, you know what you're doing. So when HaKadosh Baruch Hu puts it with the rain, you also know that it happened. So too, you need das. So the kids, the bottom line is, I can't learn anything to our sugya for usually das that it works retroactive. It doesn't work retroactive. There's a special pasuk that it works. It doesn't work retroactive. Tashma. Sponsor Yishkoyach Kidnovations. I think this is the last day in honor of my Uncle Reb Elchanan Pressman, and as a zechus for Akiva Simcha Ben Feiga. Amen. Yishkoyach Kidnovations. Ner Tamid of Baltimore, Maryland, in honor of Fishel and Simcha Gross. Thanks to them, 137 people learned over 16,000 Daf Gemara, and over how many minutes, Rabbi say? 727,000 minutes, and we're Messiah, Bava Kama with MDY. Says the Gemara Toshma. Dom Rabbi Yochanan, Mishum Rabbi Shmuel ben Tzadik. Is there Yush Shalom Das? Menayin la'avedish sheshat v'nar shimu teres. I have to tell you this over because this was in the Masifta. That it says that a guy went to the Koshin Rebbe and he said, Rebbe, I lost something. What should I do? So the Rebbe says, say Ezu 3 times, b'kavana. So the guy goes and says, he comes back to the Rebbe. No, it didn't work. He says, what do you say? He says, Ezu Mekayman. No. I meant for you to say, Ezu Shaita. Say it 3 times. Okay, Zakti Gemara. Who's an idiot? That person who loses stuff. It was a vitz in the Masifta, so you have to say it. Says the Gemara, how do you know that if you find a watch in a river, that you're allowed to take it to yourself? This is what you should do to your donkey. This is what you should do when you find a garment. Everything you find, mimenu. This word mimenu is extra. It should say asher toivad. Of course, it got lost from him. Who else did it get lost from? Umatzasa, and you found it. So the Torah is telling you mimenu. It means that only that person lost it, but you found it. So if you find somebody's Rolex in the water, you're allowed to keep it. You're not allowed to keep something that then you don't have to return. Something that you have to give back, something that's an issue, you must give it back to the owner, is similar to something you're allowed to keep to yourself. Just something that you're allowed to take to yourself, even if it has the guy's name on the watch, you're allowed to keep it for yourself. Even if it doesn't have a siman, it says mefurish over here, even if it doesn't have a siman, you're not allowed to keep it. But the question is, according to Rava, yush lemidas have a yush. So even if it doesn't have a siman, why can't you keep it? If it doesn't have a siman, keep it. And eventually the guy will give up, and then you get to keep it. So that's that. To yufta the Rava, to yufta, it's a bam kash on Rava. And therefore we don't pass like a Rava. So, as you'll see in the Aram Merkaz this week, Rabbi Schoenberg put together a nice piece, and he told me afterwards. He says, yes, halachically, if you find a watch with somebody's name on it, and his address and his telephone number, you don't have to give it back. That's the halacha. But, in the sea, shatvinar. In a situation, yeah, of course. If you found it in the street, of course you give it back. I'm talking about shatvinar, where the guy gives up and he's miyash. But there's a concept called vasisa toiva yashar, that you have to go above and beyond sometimes. And there's a gevaldik ma'aseh to supplement what Reb Shomur was saying. with Reb Elyashiv. Somebody came to Reb Elyashiv and said that in Yerushalayim, the first snow, when the snow melted, he found a bag, and inside the bag was $40,000. So he went to Reb Elyashiv, do I have to go and announce it? So Reb Elyashiv said, no, halachically you can keep it. It's money. However, says Reb Elyashiv, however, think about the pain that this guy has right now, that he lost $40,000. Try to give it back. So the guy went, and he announced in all the streets, and somebody came, and it was Taka, one of these people that really needed the money. So there is an Indian, ask your local rabbi, etc. Huh? Oh, I didn't put it out. What's the UK event? Let me see. So we'll put up the thing, Be'ez Hashem. Oh, tonight, with Reb Nachman Seltzer, who interviews myself, London, 8:15 p.m. Yivaldik. You have questions ready? You're going to throw me under the bus? Could we prepare this before? I'm kidding. What? No. You knew about this, that you're interviewing me? Okay. It's on Zoom. 8:15 tonight. So, says Gemara Vilchis Kavasei da Baya Bial Kigam Rabbi Sai the halacha, the famous halacha. The halacha is like a baya in 6 things in Shas. The first one, 10-15 hour time. Oh, the clock is so different.
2 hours earlier.
8:15 London time, Manchester time. Both Manchester and London are on. Givaldi. Looking forward. Yal Kigam. These are the 6 things that the halacha is like abaya. The first one is our sugya, Yush Shalem Das. The halacha is like abaya, that if you that you don't know about it, and later on you found out about it, you don't go retroactive and say, oh, he gave up then. Second one is when you do, we're not going to go into each one, but 8 Zaymim, does it go all the way back to the time that he was a Zaymim or from here on out? Lechi Yoyim, you have a beam that allows you to carry in a mavoi. What happened if it came there by itself? That's how it was built. You didn't put it there. The halacha is like a bay. Kiddushin Shalei Nimser L'Biyah is when a person is Mekadesh one out of 2 sisters and he doesn't know which one. Now you're not allowed to be married to 2 sisters, so you can never get married to any one of them because it might be the sister of your real wife. So whether or not it's Kiddushin. Giludas beget, let's say you know that the husband doesn't want a divorce, but he wasn't mevatel the get. Is it a get or not? Mumarechel treifus, if a guy eats treif. Lahachis, is he puzzle or leidus? The question that the Noid Yehuda has is why is the Yud first in Yal Kigam? It comes in Bava Metzia more than halfway through Shas. There's other things, Lechi, all these other things that are before. So he has a 3.5 hour drasha, and it took him 1.5 years to say this drasha on Shabbos Tshuva, etc. And Ayin Sham Noid Yehuda. The bottom line is that once Abai was right with you Shalem Das, then everything else falls into place. That's his whole drasha, how it falls into place. Ayin Sham. Yeah, these 6 are connected. What's the halacha? So what's the halacha if a woman sees her ring fall into the ocean? She's on a boardwalk showing her husband her ring, and poof, it falls into the water. She says to herself, I'm not miyash, I'm going to call a company, a scuba diving company, is a yush or not? It's a mefurish machlekes rishonim. Even if she's screaming that it's yush, it could be you could take it because...
She's screaming it's not yush.
What?
She's screaming that it's not yush.
She's saying, I'm not miyash, I'm calling the scuba divers. I'm not miyash. But it's the nar. It's taken away. You don't have a choice in the matter. Still, nevertheless, we have Reb Shomberg, the Ramah. Since we slugged the Rava, so I got to tell you a story. I know it's late, but I got to tell you this because I thought it's a kiss from Hashem. I had a box of dates here yesterday that I bought to do this demonstration yesterday. So it's in the back of the shul. So a huge Talmud Chacham, Refuah Berman, I speak about him a lot. He tells me, you got to check these well. You didn't check. I said, I did. I opened it up. He says, no, you have to take a flashlight. He says, look, I could show you in every package of dates that I ever opened up, I always find worms. And then somebody says, no, not those. Those are expensive. So let me just show you real quickly. Here it is, live. Look at the time here. It's after Mincha, 1:30, 1:31 on top. Look at that, 1:30. I did check.
What do you think I learned that?
I'm checking. Okay. I don't think I've ever had a package of dates, and I did not find at least one with a woman in it. What? Okay, so I checked them like this. I'm going to show you something.
No, I don't want.
I gave shimush to someone the other day on this.
Okay, fine. I'm not going to go into the whole thing.
I found one.
Next video. Next video, 134. 134. Here I am. It's after Mincha. It's not during Seder time. I usually finish by Mincha, but we had to finish up. So I sit down to learn, And one of the first words that come out of my mouth, and I was shocked actually. Here, check this out. Here we go. That's the Rosh Koil standing and blocking me. Now listen to me.
Here! I was listening to research yesterday. Very chashuv young man. You heard about him. I spoke about him a number of times. Sure, Berman, he told me there's not a single chavila of tamarim. It's mamish. It says even the geshkotzim and Rabbi said it happened within 30 seconds of when he told to me. I said this Gemara. You can't even make it up. Here, it's on video. It's on video.
Okay. Anyway, I thought I'd share that with you. Behind.
Did you find worms?
What's the story? The story is that he said that there are worms in every single date. Yeah. So I walk away from him, I go back and I say this Gemara right over here. These dates that fall off a tree, how could you eat it? How are you allowed to eat it? So he said to him, since this little, Yeah. But it's the same thing. Don't ruin the story. These dates have shkotzim v'remasim. Now the other thing is it doesn't mean worms. It means giant animals. So therefore, he says the reason why you're allowed to eat a date that falls off a tree, this yush. But that's only a question on Abaya, who says that it's not yush retroactive. But the big question that Rashi asks is that yesterday we learned this. Remember the chazusim mechiach that every olive has a certain face. Every tree has a certain thing. So every date has a certain face. So even according to Rava, he holds with this chazusim mechiach olav. The question would be, how can you eat a date? I know exactly from what tree it fell. So the question would be on Rava also. Anyway, weiter. Says Gemara, okay, that's great that the guy has yush. Why? Because it has disgusting shrotzim, rats take it or whatever. What about young kids that own a field? How could you take from them? Derech Agav, Reb Shalom Shvadron, he once insulted a kid. He kicked a kid at a shul, and then he felt bad about it, but he said, I can't ask him mechila. He's too young. So he waited until his bar mitzvah, gave him a beautiful gift, and then he asked him mechila. So don't insult these little kids. They're not b'nei mechila. Here's a bogadara, a valley, and to say that within the valley there's yisoyim that own trees. Why should it be choshet that yisoyim? It's very rare. Baruch Hashem. What about muchzav goyim in mind? What if you know for a fact that there's a yasam that owns something there? Or krachta, my beautiful picture krachta. I have a palm tree that I enclosed with a wall that the shkotzim v'remasim cannot enter. Omarlei Yasir, you're right. In that case, that you enclose it like that, or that you know for a fact that there's a yasim, it's taka aser. Krichos b'Rosh Hashanah Marei L'Shaloi. These are krichos. You find this in Rosh Hashanah, and it even has a pink bow on it. So this is my simon. You're allowed to take it. Why? Even it has a simon. Simon also lidoris have a simon. And look at this Givaldic video that was made just for MDY. This is simon also lidoris. You see that bow over there? Now you're not going to see it. It's also lidoris. Since people in Rosh Hashanah destroy it, so it's not considered a simon. Simon also because it's going to be destroyed. It wasn't destroyed yet. It has the potential to have a simon. Says Rava. Rava argues on his Rebbe, Rabbah. Very confusing. Rabba and Rava, how do you remember who says what? Throughout the whole Shas, they're confused, both. And some people say, oh, it's not Rava, it's Rabba. Every time they mention the name. Over here they argue with each other. It's because this does not have a bow. If it had a bow, you have to announce it. Have a simon, it is considered a simon. Some say this as its own halacha. Simon also the what's the halacha when you have a simon that's going to be destroyed? Rabbi Omar le have a simon, Rabbi Omar have a simon. Tanan, we learned in our Mishnah, Krichos, Bershus Rabbi Marei L'Shaloi. You're allowed to keep these guys. Bershus Hayachid Noitel Machers. What does it say in our Mishnah? Bershus Hayachid? It doesn't, but it is our Mishnah. Daf Chafei Amud Aleph. If you find this in a private domain, you must announce it. Hey Chidami, what's the case? Either let's bu simon if it doesn't have a simon. Bershus Hayachid My Machers. It doesn't have a simon. So what exactly are you announcing? Alav this simin, you must say that it does have a simin, and the same halakha would be in Rosh Hashanah. Even though it has a simin, you're allowed to keep it. Alma, you see from here, simin also does have a simin. Why are you allowed to keep it? It has a simin. I could say it had a pink bow. The answer is because people step on it. Truth to the Rava. There's no simin. My machar is, if it has no bow on it, what are you announcing? Machar is makom. You say, I found something on this and this corner. Does anybody know what you found? If somebody guesses right, he gets to keep it. We'll just do one more line. Rabbi have a meaningful fast, a gavaldik day. We'll see you tomorrow, Be'ez Hashem.